what's up, guys? It's Space Ghost, and today we're going to be talking about how Nick Godejohn was Gypsy Rose Blanchard's perfect victim, her perfect scapegoat, and the way she pinned everything on him probably wouldn't have worked with other people. Nick Godejohn was 26 years old whenever he unalived Dee Dee Blanchard, and he was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and he was level 2, which means that he required substantial amount of support from family around him, and he wasn't normal. He wasn't functioning like a normal person in society, and he also had a very low IQ. And you really have to think, what kind of person was Nicholas Godejohn before he met Gypsy Rose Blanchard? He had 0 arrests. He had 0 charges. He was non-violent. People have made comments that he was touching himself in a McDonald's, but I'm not seeing where he was ever charged with that, so I don't know if that's true. That is all alleged. But even his family, his parents, always said he was extremely sweet. He was extremely easily manipulated. He was a loner. He didn't have a lot of friends. He was always seeking friendship, connection, relationship. He was non-violent. He was genuinely a sweet boy. So they were so confused whenever this happened, but they also were like, yeah, I mean, I could see it because he's easily manipulated, but it doesn't sound like him. He's not this person that y'all are portraying. So a lot of people were confused about that. What does that mean? That means he is very easily manipulated. And I know people with autism. There is a spectrum. Like, some people, you would not even know they have autism. Some people, they need a lot of help because their brains do not function and rationalize and process things as a normal person would, especially when it's someone that you have fallen madly in love with, who has manipulated you and convinced you every single day for 2 years straight that this is what you have to do so that we can be together. She will not let us be together. Gypsy also told Nick, I am pregnant with your baby, or I was, but my mother forced a miscarriage on me. My mother unalived our baby together. How could she do that? I need you to unalive her. I want to have a baby with you. I want to do this with you. I want to run away with you. This man was genuinely convinced. And I know there are people being like, he's his own person. He made his own choice. He did this just because he has autism. That's not an excuse. He knows between right and wrong. Depending on the severity of how far one way you are on the spectrum, it is hard to differentiate between right and wrong, especially when someone is telling you what's right is unaliving my mother because she unalived our baby together. There was different levels and depths to the manipulation that Gypsy Rose went to. It wasn't just, hey, love you, will you unalive my mom for me? It was every single day for 2 years. I've been in relationships, obviously not like this one, where I was manipulated every single day for 2 years, and I started questioning myself and my sanity. So if I was on the autism spectrum disorder, and it was pretty fucking severe, if someone was telling me this is what is right, it's black and white, this is right, I believe that it's extremely fucking possible that I would believe that. And the crazy part, at the end of the day, Gypsy didn't even want to be with Nick. She wanted to be with Dan. And I believe that was Gypsy and Dan's plan, was to frame Nick for the unaliving and them to run away together, which we'll get into in my next video. But I think the levels to this is a lot deeper than a lot of y'all realize. Did y'all catch how whenever she was being interrogated, whenever the cops finally said, we know what happened, we know Nick did it, we know this, Gypsy immediately just blamed everything on Nick. She came clean and put everything on Nick, like she had absolutely nothing to do with it. She had no idea, all of this stuff. Oh, at first it was, he would never do that. And then it was, he told me he was going to, he had to, I told him not to, all of this stuff. She was pinning everything on Nick from the jump. She had no intentions, especially whenever she bought one train ticket away. She had no intentions of going with Nick. Her whole intention was to frame him and get away with Dan scot-free. It just didn't work out. That's why I think she is so extremely heartless, because 10 years ago, how could you do this then? And still now, when she's been in interviews and people ask about Nicholas, she's like, oh, I can't even think about him. I got to worry about my own life. He made his choice. I'm not a murderer. He did it. Like, to this day, she's still trying to get the blame away from her and pin it all on Nick. She's taking 0 accountability for it. And I think it's absolutely wild that she even has supporters, because people are still saying, that's right. He did make his choice. She's right. Guys. And what's really interesting is Gypsy wanted to say, oh, Nick had all of these alter egos and these different characters. He was Victor the vampire, and that was his evil side, and he made me make characters or personalities to match his. That's not the truth. Gypsy introduced her characters to Dan. Yeah, Gypsy even tried to get Dan to make personalities or characters that matched hers. Gypsy was the one that had these alter egos, or whatever you want to call them, and forced that on Nick. That's the real tea. But at the end of the day, Nicholas Godejohn did go through with the crime, or at least he thought he did, which I want to get into in another video. I think he did not. He just thought he was, which means, yes, he was capable of doing those things, but he told the detectives and the cops, I would have never done that if it weren't for Gypsy. So Gypsy found herself another victim, and I am honestly heartbroken that he's getting so much hate and shame because, yes, he did commit the crime, but no one looked any deeper than that, any past that. Oh, I don't care he was manipulated. I don't care that he has autism. I don't care that he has a low IQ. He did the crime. Blah, black and white thinking. And I feel sorry for the kid. I genuinely think, I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's like 30 something, but I think he should be in a long-term facility. He should be receiving extensive mental health help instead of rotting away in prison for the rest of his life. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. In my next video, we're going to be talking about how I really think the crime went between Gypsy and Dan and Nick.